Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a flip through of my Drawtober 2020 sketchbook. I followed a prompt list by the Instagram artist Abby Scarlet Rose, so I will link that in the description. So let's go ahead and get started with the first day. So this is what the inside of my sketchbook looks like for the cover. So the first day was Lavender. So I did this watercolor lavender painting, and I used a fine liner, and I think I also used a whiteout pen for the highlights because that's all that I had at the time. And day two, the prompt was crystal. I'll probably will be flipping back and forth with the prompts because I didn't actually write them for the paintings. So day two is crystal, and I followed kind of like the same color scheme as I did with lavender, and I also did some watercolor splatters as well, which I thought really added to the piece. And I also used a fine liner as well, and the same kind of whiteout pen, or I think I used actual opaque white watercolor this time for that one. Day three prompt was candle, I believe. Yep, it was candle. And this one I tried to do with oil. I did it with oil, but instead of priming the page with gesso, I used a white acrylic paint, and that created a like slippery surface. So it was actually really difficult for me to paint the way that I wanted to because there was a bit of a sheen on the surface, but for what it is and how it turned out, it's not too bad. I have this protective cover here for the next prompt, which is pumpkin, and I did this in oil pastels, and right now I'm currently working on an oil painting of this piece, which I think I will put in my Etsy shop as an original. So I used oil pastels for this, and I think I also used the same whiteout pen for the highlights. And with pumpkin, I didn't want to do, you know, just a straight up normal pumpkin, and on Pinterest I found this photo of someone who cut out a pumpkin and cut an eye shape and put a white pumpkin in the orange pumpkin and painted an eye on it. So I thought that was really cool, and I decided to use that photo as inspiration for this piece. The next piece is glowing, and this I have a digital print of in my Etsy store. So again, for glowing, I didn't want to do anything kind of like, I don't know, like glowing stars or something like that. So I do a lot of human anatomy in my work, and I thought it would be really cool to have kind of like a neon kind of light effect with this one here. So I used I think it was a free brush pack, and that's what I used for the neon effect, and it came out really nice, and I'm really happy with it. I also have stickers available of this on my Redbubble as well, and buttons and stuff. And then this piece here is, I think, is this one teeth? I'm not sure. This one is, oh, the prompt for that day is paint, actually. And again, I didn't want to do something like, you know, a paint tube, which, you know, is good. Drawing from life is good, but I didn't want to do that. And this was a particularly really bad day for me, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna paint teeth because for some reason I love to do that and they fascinate me. So I primed the page with actual gesso this time, so it had a very nice tooth for the paint to stick to, and there's some really beautiful texture in here too, which I really love. So yeah, I did some bloody teeth, and I really took my time with this piece. Again, this was a really bad day. I remember what happened. I was crying and freaking out, so I just did this painting and it made me feel better. And I really took my time on the detail and the shading, and I'm very pleased with it, and it's one of my favorites that I made for this challenge. I also have stickers available of this piece. I think I will also make prints as well for my Etsy, or I might just do them on Redbubble too. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite pieces, along with the heart for this challenge. And the next prompt was clouds, and I did this digitally, so I did like a Gaussian blur to get the gradient blend of the sky, and I just used the cloud brush in Procreate. So all the digital pieces I did in Procreate, and that's what I did for clouds. Just a cute pink sky and cute little fluffy clouds. This one is also one of my favorites. The day after this, the prompt was warrior, and that's not really my style, warrior type stuff. I don't do that. So I actually really struggled to figure out what I was going to do with this, and I was kind of anxious because I was like, oh no, like I don't want to like not have anything or like skip the prompt. So I did a poll on my Instagram and I got some great suggestions, and then I thought about, someone also suggested this too, so it was very helpful of them to do that, and they suggested doctors, because given the circumstances right now, definitely doctors are modern day heroes for sure, especially with me having like a chronic illness. Doctors really are heroes, and especially with, you know, the pandemic and everything, they are absolutely incredible. And also, you know, a lot of people forget about the other frontline workers, which are also funeral directors who have to deal with the aftermath of what the doctors deal with. So this piece is in honor of all of the frontline workers, and I decided to do a plague doctor. I really love the aesthetic of them. Really creepy, love the masks. I was actually planning to be one for Halloween, but that didn't end up happening, which is fine. But yeah, I wanted to be one for Halloween, but I couldn't get the stuff in time. So this one is a watercolor piece, and I used some gray liquid watercolor and a Pentel pocket brush pen for the lining, and I also used a gold watercolor for the moon and the banner, and then I just wrote "Trust me, I'm a doctor." And for this one, I also have in my Redbubble, I have stickers, and my designs are also on masks as well. So if you want a really cool plague doctor mask, and if you're a doctor, you should get it. It's really cool. I'm really happy of the design, and I will be making prints of this for my Etsy store as well. The next prompt was cake, and I did a brain cake. This one is, again, one of my favorites. I really love the detail that I was able to get in there with the fine liner. And I used watercolor for this. I used acrylic gouache for the background. And I used Daniel Smith watercolors, and they are so incredibly beautiful and the pigment is amazing. I definitely want to upgrade my watercolors to Daniel Smith. I used them before, but like this made me realize how much I actually love them, so I definitely want to upgrade to use Daniel Smith watercolors for this, or for future watercolor pieces. I did a bunch of polls on my Instagram, and this one was also voted to be a print, so I will be working on that to have those up in my Etsy store. And the next prompt was, let me check the list here, tea. And this happened to land on World Mental Health Day, which was October 10th. And I had a really hard time trying to do this because I hated how it looked before. It had like a really thick black outline and it just looked really heavy and I really didn't like it. So I was like, okay, screw this. And I tried to do it digitally and I hated it even more. So I just went back to this one and I tried to fix it as much as I could with opaque white watercolor actually. So I was able to do that. I was able to make the outline not as thick and I was able to fix it. So I am really happy with how it turned out, with how I was able to fix it. Still not as happy with it, but you know what, it was for World Mental Health Day. I felt like I was having a crisis while trying to do it. But I'm glad that I finished it and a lot of people really loved it, which makes me happy because this is such an important thing for me, and in my work that I always constantly advocate is mental health. And you know, I have a chronic illness, so I advocate for that as well. And November is actually going to be the month of me advocating for type 1 diabetes, which is the chronic illness that I have. So I will be advocating for that the entire month on my Instagram because it is very, very important that people know about it and what to do. So advocacy is a huge part of my work that I do. And moving on to the next prompt was lightning. So I will insert photos in the video of the actual drawings because I just printed them out to fill my sketchbook, but the digital ones look much better. So the prompt was lightning. I did blue and pink. I was really vibing with those colors, so that's what I did for that. And I downloaded a lightning brush set for this. And the next prompt was moon, I believe. Yep, it was moon. And I did watercolor for this one. And I'm pretty happy with it. It looks like a moon, which is what I wanted. So, and the texture is really nice. So just black watercolor, and I used white opaque watercolor as well. The next prompt is Ramune, or Ramune, is how it's pronounced, I think. Anyways, if you don't know what that is, it's like a Japanese soda that you have to like push this ball into it to get the soda to come out, is for you to drink it. It's really cool and it tastes really good too. So I drew that, but instead of kind of like the bubbles, like the soda bubbles, I did teeth. Again, I really have a fascination with teeth in my artwork. So that's what I did for that one. And I used acrylic gouache for this. And for the teeth, I used white opaque watercolor because that just works the best for me. I might be doing prints of this, and I might be doing stickers, not too sure yet. The votes were kind of tied with this. And the next prompt was celestial. So this one I used a black Posca pen, gold acrylic paint, and opaque white watercolor. So yeah, I just did kind of like moon phases and kind of like a night sky, and I wanted it to be very simple with colors and I wanted it to stand out. So I just did gold, and I think I also used a gold Posca for the fine details of like this part. And this one did really well too. I think people actually voted to have this one as a print or a sticker. I don't remember. I think I'll put the results in a screenshot of the results in the video. So that was Celestial. And the next prompt was Ghost. So this was day 15. And I saw a lot of pinup ghosts, especially on TikTok. There's someone I follow on TikTok who does pinup ghosts, and they're really cute and I love them. So I was inspired by that to do a thick pinup ghost, and I really love how it turned out. I think it's super cute. It did really well too, so I'm really happy about that. So that's what I did for day 15. And day 16, the prompt was Dragon. Again, that's not really my style. I don't do or draw dragons, so I actually thought about just drawing the dragon scale from the show Dragon Tales. So if you know the show Dragon Tales, let me know in the comments. I loved that show. It was one of my favorite shows to watch as a kid, among many others. So I just did the dragon scale that they hold, and I did that in watercolor. I used a pocket brush pen again, and the background was in acrylic wash. Then the next prompt was Sea Witch, and for someone who loves like anatomy and human anatomy, I'm still not exactly the greatest with faces, but this, I used watercolor. Okay, so first of all, I used watercolor. This is my first ever watercolor portrait, and like I'm very pleased with it, and it did really well too. A lot of people really loved it. So you know, I could nitpick at it, like the eyelashes, you know, whatever, but I love the hair, I love the little sparkles and the colors, so I am very pleased with this, with it being my first watercolor portrait. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. Having a bit of a brain fart here. So that was Sea Witch. Overall, very happy with it. Next prompt. After that, it was Frozen. And of course, when you search Frozen into Google, you only get the Frozen movie. And that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to do that, okay? Like, I don't do Disney stuff. I don't draw it. I like to watch the movies. I saw the Frozen movie. It was great, but that's not what I wanted. I thought about doing like Frozen eyeballs, and I didn't really know how to do that really without kind of like a reference photo. So on Pinterest, I love Pinterest, I found a photo of like actual like Frozen eyeballs. Like I drew this from the photo, and it was a photo from Martha Stewart, and I was kind of like, okay, interesting. So I just copied the photo for that, and I am very, very happy with how it turned out. I used various brushes for this, and I think it's really cute. I may do prints, maybe stickers, not too sure. Either way, that's what I did for Frozen. Then the next prompt was Fire. And for Fire, I just did a digital piece in Procreate For fire, I did this in Procreate, and I looked up tutorials on how to do fire because fire is very difficult to do, and I found this tutorial on YouTube. So you just make lines of different colors, and then you use Gaussian blur and the liquefy tool, and I thought that gave a really cool like melting effect. So that's what I did for fire. And the next prompt was cozy, and for cozy I drew a little kitty in a little turtleneck sweater, and I got new gouache actually. I'll link the video in the cards where I am testing and using these. So I got a couple of new gouache sets, so I used that for this piece. And the company Turner Colorworks, who makes Turner Aqua Gouache, they actually reposted this on their Instagram, so I was kind of freaking out about that. But yeah, this is really cute. It was watercolor and the acrylic gouache that I used. The next prompt was escape, and I did this one digitally as well. And for escape, so what I did here is I drew a brain, and I did kind of like a rainbow of all these like color swirls, which is representing creativity for me because that is my escape. I do art for myself, and I use it as a therapeutic tool, and that is why I am going into the field of art therapy, because it is an incredible tool to use to help escape or to help heal whatever it is you're going through. And you don't even have to use words, you just use colors and shapes and lines. So that's what inspired this piece. I used an oil painting brush to get the effect here. Again, I'll insert the photo in the video because printed out it's not the same, but that's what I did for escape. And the next prompt was flying. So for flying, I did another piece with gouache. The entire thing is gouache actually, except for the bats. Those I used a pocket brush pen, but I used gold acrylic gouache and purple for the background. So I just did some bats with some sparkles, and one of my Instagram followers actually was going to use this as a wallpaper, and I was like, okay, cool, let me scan it, and then you can, have a better resolution and have it as a phone background. So if anyone is interested in wallpapers of any of these, please let me know in the comments, and I will definitely make it, and I will have them on my website available for download. So this one I do have, and I really like it. It's really cute. I love the purple color. So that was flying. And this one here, the next prompt, potion, took me so long to do, and my hands really hurt after. So this one, all made with gouache, again, of course, for the line work. But I did so many different things to achieve kind of like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of like a sheen to it. I'll insert a video of like the actual sheen. So I used different kinds of gouache. I used opaque, actual opaque gouache. I used a gouache mixed with gel medium to get the glass look, and then I used a pearlized one to push the glass effect for that one. And yeah, I used green, blues, and pinks and purples. I thought it was really cute. I think I'm doing a print of this. Yeah, I think I'm doing a print of this because this is also one of my favorites. And of course, I just did like a little eyeball in there. And then the next prompt was magical, and I also used acrylic gouache as well. So for magical, I did Magical Girl wands, specifically from the anime Card Captor Sakura. I watched that as a kid, back when anime gave on like YTV. So that's what I did for magical, and I actually have a speed paint of this, which is on my TikTok. Follow me on TikTok to see speed paints and me packing Etsy orders and whatnot. So that's this one, magical. This one it's stars. Let's see, magic. Oh, it was magic, the previous one. So the next one is stars. I did a watercolor galaxy, and I used stone ground watercolors for this. And I used white opaque watercolor as well for the splatters, and I just painted in the stars there. So this is actually like metallic, the like red, and I have like some white here that is metallic. The next prompt was pumpkin spice, and if you know me, you know that I love pumpkins. I love pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin pie. That's all I eat during the fall. So I did this digital drawing of the pumpkin spice cold brew from Starbucks, because even it could be like -40 outside and I will still be drinking iced coffee, because that's just what I like. So I did the pumpkin spice cold brew, and I just drew like a cute little pumpkin and put it as like the logo, because I don't think I would have been able to actually draw the Starbucks logo. So that's what I did for that one. The next prompt was black cat, and this one was also like really difficult to do. Like the pose was so difficult for some reason. But yeah, I just wanted to keep this simple. I used acrylic gouache for the background, and I used white opaque watercolor for the stars, and I used a pocket brush pen as well. The next prompt was night. Yeah, it was night. This was just all watercolor. I used a gray watercolor, and then I used my white opaque watercolor as well. I did a video of me painting this on my TikTok if you want to check it out. And I really like it. I think the texture of the clouds turned out really well. So that was night. The next prompt was fox, and I was like, wow, I went through this entire drawing challenge and I didn't do anything Demon Slayer. And Demon Slayer is like my all-time favorite anime. I love it so much. I cosplay as Nezuko, and I'm so excited to see the new movie that's coming out in 2021. So this I was going to do digitally, and I was like, no, I'm gonna challenge myself, and I'm going to do all of it by hand. And this took me so long. I think it took me longer than the potion one. Maybe, I don't know, but it felt like it. This was all done with gouache and acrylic gouache and a pocket brush pen, and it took me so long, and not that many people liked it on Instagram. Like, especially this part here, I really like this line type of aesthetic thing going on. And I was just like, oh my god, if I did this digitally, I would have finished it quickly by now. But no, I did it by hand, and it was a good challenge, so I'm not mad at it. The next prompt was skull, or was it sparkles? No, it was sparkles. Yeah, never mind. It was sparkles, and I decided to do a skull with sparkles. Like, that's all I did. So I used the monoline brush in Procreate, and I used this like really cool inking texture one to get like the shading in the skull. And then I used the monoline again for the little sparkles around it. I think this one I'll make into a digital print, available on my Etsy as well, and I think I'm going to upload it onto Redbubble because it's a really cool design, and a lot of people like it. So that's what I'll be doing for that. And now we are on to the final prompt, which is Halloween, and that is when I'm recording this video, is on Halloween. And I did it digitally too, and I did a tombstone that says RIP Halloween 2020 because everyone is staying home, or should be staying home, or if you are going to be doing trick-or-treating with your kids, like, please just be safe. Like, I don't know why that's so hard for people to do, but yeah, I'm staying home. I will be in cosplay, and I will be video chatting my friends. So I just did a tombstone, and we got some long grass here and a dark sky with clouds, and it just says RIP 2020. Or, well, yes, RIP 2020 for sure. Definitely everyone just wants this year to be over, but RIP Halloween 2020. So that is everything that I did for Drawtober 2020. I had so much fun doing this, and it definitely was a challenge because I work, so I actually did some prompts in advance. Like, some days I would be doing 3 prompts at a time because I work 8-hour shifts, so I wouldn't have had time to, you know, do them on the actual day. So yeah, it was, I can't believe that I finished it and that I did everything on time. I learned so much. I learned new techniques. I learned that I really love watercolor and acrylic gouache as well, but I cannot wait to get back to oil painting for November. I think I'm going to be doing a mini anatomy series because I have a 24 pack of 2x2 canvases. So that is everything for Drawtober of 2020. I have stuff available of some of these on my Redbubble store with stickers, pins, and of course on my Etsy. So I will leave links to everything in the description box. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button for more videos, and I will talk to you in the next one. Take care.